This is the Zeitgeist City bike, or at least they're calling it the City bike for now. I'm looking at one of their first kind of a demo model, so a few things are still being dialed in, but it's a phenomenal bike. It's amazing to me that the entire frame is custom carbon fiber with Kevlar lining inside to help further improve strength. And that goes all the way down here to the forks, to the seat post, to the stem, to the handlebars. Just awesome. It definitely improves the ride quality. It keeps it super light. This bike isn't the lightest electric bike I've ever ridden, but considering the power that you're getting here, it's a 500 watt internally geared hub motor from 8Fun. And the fact that we've got a 48 volt battery with Samsung cells, it is the lightest, because that's a lot of power. So you get comfort, you get power. The model I'm looking at here is a little bit on the large size. They're going with a single sort of high step medium frame, and I'll have a little bit more detail and specs back at the site to run through that. But this is essentially what it'll look like. It's got kind of that nice glossy white sort of high reflection for safety with this matte black kind of accent color going through, and that includes the hub motor casing, the spokes, the wheel set. You've also got these reflective sidewalls on the Schwalbe tires, 28 by 1.75 with green guard. Those are the Energizer tires. I like them. I see them a lot on electric bikes. They're thicker. They're not going to get flats as frequently as something that's cheaper. But if you do get a flat on the front, you've got quick release, which is really nice. On the rear, you do not. It's just kind of the standard, bolt-on situation. Really nice drivetrain, Shimano Deore XT, 10 speeds. That's awesome with a single ring up front. On electric bikes, I see a lot of like 6, 7, 8 speed, but 10 is great. You've got better range, and that's important because this is a speed pedelec. So it goes up to about 28 miles per hour in pedal assist, 0 through 9, so 9 increments of assist they're really nice. It's very responsive. I was told that it's got kind of like a torque sensing bottom bracket, but my experience riding it so far is it feels more like cadence sensing. Even when I'm pedaling, I'm not pushing, it responds, and it gives me a lot of power. It's definitely a powerful bike. A little bit more noise from the geared hub motor, but it's smaller, it's lighter, and I think that's the right choice. This is a very powerful and satisfying bike. But the price is higher. This is $7,999. That's, definitely at the higher end of electric bike pricing, but you get things like this. Check it out. It's a magnetic LCD console that comes out. So when you park at a bike rack or something like that, if you do, you can take this out and no one can really mess with it. It just kind of looks like a regular old bicycle, especially with that integrated battery. Building that stem out of carbon fiber and everything, that costs extra money. Adding things like this, the Tektro Dorado, e-bike specific hydraulic disc brakes with these nice sort of like ball ends, that's a requirement in Europe for the speed pedelec bikes. Those are controlling these calipers down here. We've got the Tektro Aruga E-Comp 180 millimeter disc brake rotors, front and rear. So great stopping power, great acceleration, great lightweight, but also good comfort. I like that they've got little extras all around the frame, like these bosses for adding a rear rack. They do have sort of a partnership, it seems like, with Thule, or maybe they're kind of featuring their products because they have a Thule rear rack with Thule panniers. And they've also got kind of a front rack that works with a Thule basket. So you could turn this into kind of a utilitarian bike if you wanted to. In my opinion, it's a little bit more of like a road bike. That's how I'm classifying it, road or city, because if you look at the kind of the handlebars and everything, they're pretty they're pretty far out there, but they do have some nice creature comforts up here as well, including the ergonomic grips. I hadn't seen these before. Tubro, so little bar ends that you could kind of position your hands on or keep them from sliding off the edge. Again, just really comfortable. Nice stuff, but not super adjustable. And this is a flat bar. It's not a riser. It doesn't sweep back. So again, your body position is really kind of forward and aggressive. This just has sort of a generic saddle on it, but the final saddle will be Selle Royale gel saddle. It's got some vents in it. That's a really quality seat. I've tried it on some other bikes too. So again, back to the comfort. It's great balance all around this bike, and I love the matching, white up here, white here on the quick release collar. Great stuff. The wheel set is actually 700C, so it's like that city size, and I was talking about the tires earlier. So being a little bit larger, I think you just get more efficiency when you're riding at high speeds. They do help to span cracks and things rather than going into them, and just creates some stability and some rolling momentum. So this is, again, the right size for sort of road riding. Even though the tires aren't super narrow like a true road bike would, that's a good compromise for an electric bike that would traditionally weigh a little bit more. I like that they've also got kind of an aluminum alloy bash guard on the front. There's no, chain guard, full length thing, but this will help to keep your pants and stuff from touching the chain, and also protect it if you happen to go off a curb or something and it's high enough that you encounter the edge of concrete. The pedals are kind of underwhelming to me. These are VP plastic platform pedals. They match, they're black, they got reflectors and everything, but they're not going to be as large or as rigid as something like the Wellgo magnesium ones that you can get off Amazon or some of these other places. So that's an area that's like, meh, they just kind of stuck them on. Got a quick disconnect for the motor in the back, but a lot of the wires are run right through the frame. You can see them going in through this head tube. Really nicely done. And I think they'll have like maybe an optional light or something for the front, so you can always add a light to the back if you get the rack or something, but you'll have to do that kind of on your own. So I think that's a really good overview of the bike. I've tried to hit all the different areas. The battery is locking, it is removable. You can see the keyhole right here, again, black, so it's just really clean. As you step back from the bike, it just sort of disappears. It kind of looks like a traditional bike, and you can see the 180 millimeter disc brake rotor and then the 10-speed cassette on the other side hide the hub, the hub motor, so people won't see that. I like that they actually included a kickstand here, because I've seen some e-bikes, especially when they're going to be lightweight like this, they don't have a kickstand, but it's just convenient, and they picked a really nice one. It's adjustable length, and it's got a good foot base at the bottom, so it keeps the bike stable. I like that a lot. There's really a lot to appreciate on this bike. It's just expensive, so it's definitely more of a premium buy from there. Okay, well, I guess the other thing to mention is the battery. I weighed it. It's about 5 pounds on its own. It's nice that you can take it off the frame if you're lifting and traveling. And, if you take this to work or something in the city, you could lock the bike up at a rack. You could take the battery in and charge it separately from the bike or on the bike. It's got that little rubber cover thing going on. So, yeah, nice stuff. I think I'm going to hop on. Again, being pedal assist, there's no throttle or anything like this. It's speed pedelec, 28 mile per hour. You really do get going. And I want to just show you kind of how responsive it is and what the motor sounds like back here. And I'm actually near Rastradero Preserve, Palo Alto, California, and these beautiful hills. It's quiet. The perfect place to be riding something like this. And going up a little bit of a gradient here, so that can give you some idea of the power. Oh, but you know what? Before I get going, I should say this is a 2-step on-off process here. I almost forgot. So you got to hold that button there for a second. That's step 1. Then you got to go up here. There's actually a little button under the stem, and you can see it kind of coming on, powering up. There we go. Okay, yeah, I didn't even really go through this. There's a wireless up and down button here, remote button pad. That's pretty easy to reach. And when you activate that, basically it's just up or down. If for some reason this falls off or you take it off, you can press that button on the underside again to go up, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it just cycles back to 0, which is nothing, just bicycle mode. So I'm going to go up to 9, of course, because that's kind of the most fun, I think, for a review. You've also got your battery capacity here. It looks like 5 increments, your speed, your odometer, kind of basic stuff that you'd expect. So here we go. One more time. You can definitely hear it, right? And that's because we're climbing. And it's a little bit of a delay there after I stopped. Now this time, see, I'm going to coast down the hill. I'm just barely going to move my feet, and you'll see the motor activate. And that's what I mean. That's why I question whether it truly is a torque sensor or maybe it's some sort of advanced sensor. Again, this is a real early build. It's not the full production build. You might have noticed that the display console right here looks great, but that the button pad is using a zip tie to stay on to kind of fasten it. And in fact, the wireless, maybe it's out of batteries or something like that. It wasn't working for me. So that's another thing. Depending on how they set up, if it is wireless and stuff, that can run out of batteries. It can be just one more thing to sort of think about. I'm not convinced that that's a perfect solution, so I'm glad that they do have the little button below the stem. I'm gonna put on my frame camera and do some higher speed riding, give you some idea of how the frame flows and everything like that. I'm climbing right now, so this is pretty amazing. Now I'm smoothed out to the flat. Up to almost 35 kilometers per hour. And now we're climbing again. You can hear the motor struggle a little bit. Shift down. Try the brakes. Awesome. I love that the motor kicks in even when you're at those higher speeds. Wow, well, I've had a lot of fun with this bike. It's really cool to see it sort of before, you know, it's really hit the market. It's definitely a niche premium product. I can appreciate the ride quality and the speed. I love that they're making the frame a little smaller because I'm 5'9", so this does feel like a bit of a reach, a stretch for me. The price is significant, but you're getting something really unique. So for the full write-up on this with all the specs and everything, you can head back to the site. I've got other road bike, e-bikes reviewed there as well. So that's ElectricBikeReview.com. As always, ride safe out there.